Welcome to the Deep Dive with Bobby and Michelle, taking a deeper dive into things like books and videos, giving you a view of what's under the surface. Sit back and take the Deep Dive with Bobby and Michelle.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another Deep Dive with us. Today we're going to be taking a look at what we're calling woo-woo science.
How fun!
Yeah. You know those ideas that sometimes sound like they're straight out of a science fiction novel? We've got a stack of listener questions about some pretty out there concepts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're talking about things like the moon, hollow earth, Bigfoot, even quantum computing.
Wow, that's quite a range.
It is a big range, and we're going to explore these topics with a healthy dose of curiosity.
Yeah.
But, of course, like any good scientist, we'll keep our critical thinking caps on, too.
It's a great approach. I think sometimes those fringe ideas can lead us down some pretty fascinating paths.
Right.
Even if they don't turn out to be scientifically valid.
Exactly. So let's start with something we all know and love, the moon.
Oh,
Now, I'm not talking about the whole moon landing was faked thing.
Right.
Personally, I'm firmly in the we landed on the moon camp, but there's a mystery that I find really intriguing, the origin of the moon itself.
Oh, yeah. It's a question that has puzzled scientists and storytellers for centuries.
Absolutely.
There are those amazing ancient stories, some passed down through generations in Native American cultures, about a time before the moon existed.
I've heard of those.
And these stories describe a world where the moon suddenly appeared, causing massive disruptions to tides and weather patterns.
Right. It's wild. Some of those stories even talk about a dragon that brought the moon or left it behind. I know it sounds fantastical, but you have to admit it sparks the imagination.
It really does.
Of course, science offers a different explanation.
Right.
The prevailing theory is that a giant asteroid slammed into Earth, and the debris from that collision eventually formed the moon.
Yes, the giant impact theory does have a lot of evidence backing it up.
Yeah.
For example, the composition of the moon is surprisingly similar to the Earth's mantle.
Interesting.
But even with a solid scientific explanation, those ancient stories remind us that humans have been trying to make sense of the cosmos for a very long time.
It's true.
Often weaving compelling narratives in the process.
Okay, now buckle up, because we're about to get into some serious woo-woo territory.
Okay.
You've probably heard of the hollow moon theory.
Oh, yes. The idea that the moon isn't a solid sphere, but is actually hollow inside, possibly even containing a hidden world or an alien base.
Exactly. And there are these reports of a ringing sound that some people claim emanates from the moon's interior.
Interesting.
This has been used to support the idea of the moon being hollow. But here's the thing. Scientists have actually investigated this ringing phenomenon.
Okay.
It turns out that it's related to the way seismic waves travel through the moon's structure after moonquakes or impacts. It's not evidence of a hollow interior.
Right. Scientifically, the hollow moon theory doesn't hold much weight.
Yeah.
We've sent probes to orbit and land on the moon, and the data collected from those missions is consistent with the moon being a solid body.
Okay.
With a layered internal structure.
So no little green men inside. It's a good reminder that sometimes those woo-woo ideas can be explained by perfectly natural phenomena.
Absolutely.
But hey, even if it's not an alien base, the moon still holds plenty of mysteries.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you know what theory pairs perfectly with a hollow moon?
Let me guess. The hollow earth theory.
You got it. The idea that our entire planet is hollow, with a whole other world existing beneath the surface.
The hollow earth idea has been around for centuries.
It has.
Showing up in folklore, literature, and even some early scientific theories.
Now, I know we were all taught in school about the Earth's core, mantle, and crust.
Right.
But there's something about the hollow earth concept that's just so captivating, isn't there?
It really taps into our sense of wonder about what lies beyond the known.
Yes.
I mean, think about classic stories like Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, yeah?
Even though we know it's fiction, it still sparks our imaginations.
Of course.
I have to admit, I much prefer the older version of the movie with Pat Boone.
Interesting.
The newer one, not so much.
Really?
It tried to update the story, but it just didn't have the same charm.
Yeah, I could see that.
The actress with the big teeth, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, no worries.
But anyway.
Okay, back to the theory itself. Is there any scientific basis for a hollow earth?
Well, from a scientific standpoint, the evidence overwhelmingly points to the Earth having a solid structure. We've studied seismic waves from earthquakes, and they tell us a lot about the Earth's interior.
Okay.
Those waves travel differently through different materials, and the data clearly indicates a solid core, a mantle, and a crust.
So solid all the way through.
Pretty much, yeah. Plus, the gravitational pull of the Earth is consistent with a dense, solid planet, not a hollow one.
So the hollow Earth is scientifically debunked.
I'd say so.
But that doesn't mean it's not fun to think about.
Not at all.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about cryptids.
Oh, fun!
These mysterious creatures that some people believe exist even though science hasn't officially recognized them.
Yeah, cryptids are fascinating because they blur the lines between folklore mythology and the possibility of undiscovered species.
Right.
They really capture the imagination.
Absolutely. And probably the most famous cryptid of them all is Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who hasn't heard a Bigfoot story or two?
Right. Bigfoot sightings have been reported for centuries, mainly in the Pacific Northwest region of North America.
And those reports often describe a large, hairy, bipedal, ape-like creature.
Uh-huh.
But is Bigfoot real? Or is it just a case of mistaken identity? Maybe people are seeing bears or other known animals and misinterpreting what they see.
There are definitely some explanations for Bigfoot sightings that don't involve a new, undiscovered species.
Like what?
For example, people might be seeing bears standing on their hind legs, or they might be misidentifying tracks or other signs in the wilderness.
That makes sense, but then there are those really compelling stories.
Yeah.
The ones where people claim to have had close encounters, even face-to-face interactions with Bigfoot. Some people believe Bigfoot has cloaking abilities, which would explain why it's so rarely caught on camera.
Interesting.
And then there's that idea that Bigfoot might be interdimensional, able to move between different realities.
It's intriguing to consider those possibilities. The idea of interdimensional beings connects to the concept of the multiverse, which is something that theoretical physicists are actively exploring.
So you're saying there could be a whole other dimension where Bigfoot hangs out?
Well, the multiverse theory suggests that our universe might be just one of many universes existing simultaneously.
Whoa. So Bigfoot could be taking a stroll through different dimensions. That's mind-blowing. And you mentioned that scientists are actually looking into the multiverse. What's the deal with that?
Well, for a long time, the multiverse was considered a purely speculative idea, something out of science fiction. But in recent years, some physicists have proposed that the multiverse might be a consequence of certain interpretations of quantum mechanics and string theory. These are very complex theories, but essentially they suggest that there might be other universes out there with different physical laws and constants.
So there could be a universe where gravity works differently, or a universe where time runs backward. That's wild.
It's certainly a fascinating idea to ponder, and it ties into the idea of multiple dimensions, which is another concept that physicists are exploring.
I remember reading about scientists proposing different numbers of dimensions, 6, 11, 17. It's enough to make your head spin.
Right. The exact number of dimensions proposed varies depending on the specific theory.
Okay.
String theory, for example, suggests that there might be 10 or 11 dimensions, but most of these dimensions are thought to be compactified or curled up at a subatomic level.
I see.
So we don't experience them directly, but it's amazing to think that there could be all these unseen dimensions woven into the fabric of reality.
It's like those UFO or UAP sightings. Could some of those be interdimensional visitors popping in and out of our reality?
That's a very speculative idea, but it's an intriguing possibility. We simply don't know enough about UAPs to say for sure what they are or where they come from.
Okay.
Some scientists believe they might have prosaic explanations like advanced military technology or atmospheric phenomena, but the idea that they could be interdimensional adds another layer of mystery, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Okay, let's bring things back down to earth for a moment and talk about a woo-woo concept that's actually becoming quite real. Quantum computing.
Quantum computing is a fascinating field that's rapidly advancing.
It is.
It leverages the principles of quantum mechanics to perform calculations in ways that classical computers simply can't.
Right. It's like comparing a horse and buggy to a spaceship.
A very good analogy.
Classical computers use bits, which are like tiny switches that are either on or off, representing ones and zeros.
Okay.
But quantum computers use qubits, which can be in a superposition, both on and off at the same time.
Exactly. And that superposition, along with other quantum phenomena like entanglement, allows quantum computers to perform certain types of calculations exponentially faster than classical computers. This has the potential to revolutionize fields like medicine materials, science, and artificial intelligence.
I was watching a segment on 60 Minutes about quantum computing, and they were talking about how Google used a quantum computer to solve a problem in just 200 seconds that would have taken a classical supercomputer 10,000 years to solve.
It's truly remarkable, and the race is on to develop even more powerful quantum computers.
Yeah.
Companies like IBM, Google, and research institutions in China are all pushing the boundaries of this technology. It's exciting to see how quickly the field is progressing.
And it's a perfect example of how something that was once considered woo-woo, this super abstract theoretical concept, is now becoming a tangible reality.
Absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the moon to the hollow earth, Bigfoot to the multiverse, and even dipping our toes into the quantum realm.
It's been quite the journey, and I think it highlights something really important.
Oh, what's that?
That sense of wonder and curiosity, it's essential. It's what drives us to explore, to question, to push the boundaries of what we know.
I totally agree. It's like, even if some of these woo-woo science concepts turn out to be, well, just woo-woo,
Right.
the process of investigating them can still lead to new discoveries and insights.
Absolutely. Think about the hollow moon theory. Even though it's not scientifically valid, it led us to discuss the fascinating science behind moonquakes and how seismic waves travel through the moon's interior.
And exploring the idea of Bigfoot, whether or not it actually exists, got us talking about the multiverse and multiple dimensions concepts that physicists are seriously considering.
Right, and who knows, maybe someday in the future, some of the ideas we consider woo-woo today will become accepted science. After all, there was a time when people thought the Earth was flat or that germs didn't exist.
It's a good reminder to keep an open mind and to never stop questioning. What other woo-woo concepts might be lurking out there, just waiting to be explored? What seemingly impossible ideas might become tomorrow's reality? It's pretty exciting to think about.
It certainly is, and it makes you realize that we're still just scratching the surface of understanding the vast mysteries of the universe.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us as we ventured into the world of woo-woo science. We hope you enjoyed the journey.
And remember, keep that sense of wonder alive, and never be afraid to explore the unknown.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds open. See you on our next deep dive.